So you want to make your family bacon, eggs, pancakes, and hash browns on your Blackstone griddle? Well, here's how I do it, step by step. Start off by getting the griddle around 375 to 400 degrees, then I'll squirt down a little bit of oil and wipe it with a towel. You don't have to do this, I've just been doing it lately to try to get some really clean, crispy, golden hash browns. That is 2 cups of dehydrated hash browns. This would be the same process with frozen or fresh. It just may take a little longer if you cook the frozen ones. Hit them with some salt, pepper, garlic, and then mixaroo. Finally, once you get them separated into 2 piles, you can add some more oil. The key to hash browns, in my opinion, is 375 to 400 degrees, lots of butter or oil, season, spread them thin, then don't touch them for like 10 minutes. I timed these ones, I actually didn't flip them for like 11 minutes, so you can even go a little longer. Here comes the star of the show, the undisputed breakfast heavyweight champion of the world, bacon. You know what they say, a pound of bacon a day keeps the vegetarians away. So oftentimes I'll put the bacon down as the griddle heats up. That's another option you can do. I just didn't do it this time, I did the potatoes first. After it's down, keep flipping it regularly and moving it around to try your best to cook it evenly. My griddle, and most griddles I would imagine, have hot and cooler spots. Just a quick thing you can do if you want to learn your griddle's hot spots is called a toast test. I put down a full loaf of white bread while the griddle is on medium low. Then after about 10 minutes you can flip over all the pieces of bread and you'll get a visual representation of where the hotter and cooler spots are on your specific griddle. It should help you in future cooks. So I'm following the cooking order I was taught when I managed Bob Evans. That's a diner in the Midwest. Right after college I was a manager for 2 years. And that is potatoes, then meat, then pancakes, and eggs are always last. You want to put down whatever takes the longest first, and then whatever cooks the quickest last, so eggs are last. You may have noticed Tank Hill in the background there. I'll tell you what, Johnny, some good looking bacon. Move the bacon onto my little wire rack as it finishes. FYI, this recipe and 100 more griddle recipes and everything I know about griddling from 5 years of owning one and working in restaurants is in my ebook that's on your screen. So now I'm going to go ahead and move the bacon to one side, and then I'm going to turn that burner off, the one on the left side of your screen. Just turn it off. I need to lower the temp on this section of the griddle to get it ready for when I'm doing the eggs later because they're not at such a high temp. Also, I'm going to scrape off all the bacon grease and drippings. Well, not all the grease. There will still be like a thin layer to cook the pancakes and eggs, but the bits of bacon basically. Then we'll flip the hash browns. Like I said, it's 11 minutes after putting them down, 375 to 400, lots of oil. And oh, we got some nice crispy golden hash browns there. Really like the way they turned out. And then we'll move them to the section of the griddle which is off, just to kind of hold warm but not like cook too much or burn or anything. And we're moving on to the pancakes, making bacon pancakes. Clean off more bacon grease, check the temp. You can see that it's lower where I turned it off like 300 by that burner that's off, and it's still around 400 in the middle. I do my pancakes around 375 to 400 as well. This is actually a secret family recipe my Uncle Jack came up with, and see, he was eating all the time, so we called him Hungry Jack for this pancake batter. So what you'll do is you'll take 1 cup of his pancake mix, 3/4 cup of water, like a teaspoon of vanilla, and then usually just like half a tablespoon or a scoop of sour cream when I mix it together with a fork. What you end up with is about 5 4-inch pancakes or so. After I get all of them down here, what I'm going to do is make sure I get all of it out of that bowl first. There we go. Then I'm going to hit them up with some chocolate chips. Why? Because that's what my 4-year-old wants, and it's his world. We're just living in it. The little tyrant tells me what to do. I'm just kidding. I love him to death, but I do try to keep him as happy as possible. So I tried to do some smiley faces on the first 2, and I'm not an artist, you know. I'll tell you that much. You can see that very clearly. So I got frustrated and just gave up and started just dumping chocolate chips on all the other ones, which it's all going to taste the same, right? Who cares? You know, that's such a dad thing to say. Like, it's going to taste the same. Who cares? But I still have my Rudolph pancakes in my back pocket that I can always whip out around Christmas time to try to impress him, even if these chocolate chip smiley faces didn't turn out that well. I'll keep flipping the bacon and try to get the ends cooked. Some of them curled up on me, so I just smashed down the ends with my spatula, again putting any finished pieces on my wire rack. Let's flip the first pancake, the one in the middle there, because it's ready because that was hotter. And I probably should have just put all of them in the middle. The ones on the left near the burner, which was off, just gave me some trouble later, but whatever, live and learn. The first one looks good. Eventually I flipped the other two that were also close to the middle and then moved the rest of the bacon off the griddle because it was finally finished cooking. The other two pancakes I just left on the griddle because they needed more time to cook, and we'll check back in later. So my temp for the eggs, I'm around 325, which is where I like to do eggs. My process for eggs are scrape, then oil, then wipe down with a paper towel. I'm going to drop down 2 eggs for some over easies. Those will be for me. Then let's try to move these pancakes. The first one's a little light, okay? It wasn't perfect. The second one, oh no. Okay, that doesn't look good. Okay. It just wasn't hot enough. Happy accidents, no mistakes. We'll just cook it a little more over on the other side of the griddle, try to make up for it. Don't forget the salt and pepper and garlic on my over easies. Then we'll move the pancakes onto the wire rack with the bacon as they finish cooking. So the last 2 pancakes, when I flipped them on the other side, they ended up being okay. They got a little more heat. I think we saved them. I think we're okay. And now we're getting ready for the scrambled, and I got that spot in front. I already scraped it, and there's a little bit of bacon grease there, so I'm just going to wipe it down with a paper towel and put down my 2 scrambled eggs. I usually pour about half to let them set up, then separate it out with my spatula to hopefully make a well or a wall to try to prevent them from running away on me. My griddle is slanted towards the grease trap. So now real quick, let me show you what happened if you don't scrape and wipe it down. You'll end up with what I would call dirty eggs. So you can see in a previous cook, I have the left side is clean and the griddle on the right side is where I did the bacon. I did not scrape it down. I'm just going to pour 1 egg over right in that bacon grease and drippings and just kind of cook it right in there and, just kind of contain it. You'll see here what happens. And then as I flip it over a little bit, you'll see the pieces of bacon in there, little black spots and specks and stuff. It's not bad, it's a preference thing, and if you want that or not. Just let me know in the comments how you like to do your eggs. I just wanted to show you this of what happens if you don't scrape it down. Okay, back to my eggs here. We're doing salt, pepper, garlic powder, and then you'll see me cutting all the burners off. That is the last thing going down. We're almost done, so everything's off. And I'll move the scrambled eggs together, put my last pancakes up there, clean off the spatula to go ahead and flip these over easies. For reference, the over easies were down for 2.5 to 3 minutes on the first side. Then I flipped them and they sat for like 40 seconds. I have my estimated times on the screen now for over easy, over medium, over hard. That's if you're at like 325 degrees from my experience. Okay, let's plate everything on my cutting board. FYI, if you want any of the tools I use, they're always in the description linked below. Scrambled eggs, over easy eggs, golden hash browns, God's gift to griddling, some bacon, and that there, folks, is a big old breakfast on the Blackstone griddle. I hope this was helpful. If you want a more detailed video on how I do eggs and omelets, that's on your screen, and so is the video of bacon and eggs where I go over dirty eggs more. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one and keep on griddling, friends.